And she looked at me
Yeah.
and said, "You didn't tell me." And I said, "I didn't know."
Oh, it's hot. You fry an egg on my stomach.
You've seen what they look like. They prematurely age. They all look about 90 years old.
Hello and welcome to the Mixtape podcast. My name's Mark and I am your host. Thank you so much for tuning in for this week's episode. Every week on the show, I ask my guests to make up an imaginary mixtape and pick 6 tracks for it. I've had some incredible chats. They're already there in the archives, just waiting for you to stumble across them. I've had chats with Steve Kilby from The Church, Rowetta from the Happy Mondays, Rick from Ash. I've had Al Anderson, one of the original Wailers. I've had Clint Boone from Your Spiral Carpets. I've had Donita Sparks from L7. I've had Scott Kirkland from The Crystal Method. There's lots and lots of episodes sitting there waiting for you to discover. If you enjoy this week's episode, please feel free to rate it 5 stars on Spotify and or jump up to the top of the page and hit that old follow or subscribe button, and you'll be notified every time there is a new episode. Catch up with everything I'm doing by going to www.themixtapepodcast.com. That's enough of the intro. I hope you enjoy this week's episode. Hello and welcome to this week's mixtape, and today it is an absolute pleasure to welcome Hugh Cornwell to the mixtape. How are you, Hugh?
I'm very well. Nice to see you, Mark.
Thanks for coming on the show and making the time, mate. Really, really appreciate it. Literally 2 minutes before I logged on for this chat, I saw the tour announcement on the Metropolis Facebook page. So you're coming to Australia for a solo tour.
Well, when I say solo, it's not me just with an acoustic guitar.
Sure,
it's important to solo like a band. Yeah.
Yes. So it's your band. So kicking off the 31st of July in Australia, you're going to be hitting Sydney, Marrickville, the Blue Mountains, Thornbury, St Kilda, Brisbane, Adelaide, and as many people do these days, saving the very best till last, Rosemount Hotel in Perth. There'll be a link in the description if you're listening on the podcast. If you're listening to the radio show, then it is metropolistouring.com for all your tickets and gig info and stuff like that. Setlist wise, Hugh, what can people expect from this tour?
That's a very good question. We just finished a 2-week tour in the UK where instead of doing 2 separate sets, separating the solo material and the Stranglers material, like I did when I came last time to Australia about 5 years ago, we're mixing it up, and it's rather like a set I'd do at a festival. So a couple of mine, and then a Stranglers gem, and then a couple of mine, then another Stranglers gem. So it's a bedrock of my solo stuff, and then enough Stranglers classics in there, along the way.
I'm very much looking forward to seeing that. And Moments of Madness, that's your most recent album.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
I was giving your YouTube channel a good going over in the last couple of days, and I was loving the videos for the singles off the album. Well, I say loving.
Thanks.
There's one of them I wasn't so keen on, but we'll get to that. We'll get to that in a minute. That's me, not you.
Okay.
So I want to hide inside you.
Oh, do you like that one?
Yeah, I'm old enough to remember those like old sort of silent movies on a Saturday morning, Buster Keaton and you know Charlie Chaplin and that. So I loved that, and it was a really cool sort of video incorporating a lot of those old silent movies. And I know you're a bit of a movie buff, so was that something that sort of came into play when you were making that video?
Well, it took a long time. It took about 6 months on and off with me and my cameraman, my montage Ben, to put that together. And a few years ago, I had an album called Totem and Taboo came out, and there was a song on that called Gods, Guns and Gays. And I did a similar type of promo clip where I just went into YouTube and just looked on YouTube for bits of footage that would illustrate what I was trying to put across. And so the I Wanna one is like the next step. I thought, well, maybe I could do a sort of similar thing that I did on God's Guns and Gays. And it worked really well. I'm really pleased with it. And now that I've heard that song so many times in the last 6 months that it's become one of my favorite songs from the album now.
Yeah. And also, I was trying to pick as a native Englishman. I was when I was a young man. I was trying to pick which beach you were sitting on, and I had it narrowed down to the Costa del Essex, Clacton on Sea, and like somewhere like Scarborough or somewhere like that. It was driving me mad trying to guess where it was. Whereabouts? What beach are you sitting on there filming that promo, mate?
It was the North Beach of Kent, sort of
Ah, right, okay, yeah,
but not far off, not far off, past Whitstable. It's about. It had to be within easy access of London, so we could get out there early in the morning and get
yeah,
back.
yeah.
And we got great weather. Yeah,
It absolutely had that grim North Sea beach look about it. As someone who spent many a year as a child on the Costa del Essex and up and down there, yeah, I
yeah.
picked that straight away. I was like, that's definitely in that area. Yeah, another fantastic video. But the one that I wasn't so keen on, and
Okay, yeah, go on.
it's purely my own issue. And I should have known from the title, Beware of the Doll.
Oh, you
Brilliant
don't
video,
like that
right?
one?
No, I'll tell you the reason why, and regular listeners will know because I had a very similar conversation with another guest who picked a similar song and video. As a child, as a very small child, I spent quite often weekends at my grandmother's house, and she had this collection of dolls that were really, I felt as a kid, like really creepy. And
Oh, I see.
I used to sleep in the spare room like a gibbering wreck, scared shitless of all these like cases full of like dolls and
Looking at you, looking
staring
at
at
you.
me. Yeah, and then I had
Oh,
a couple of years later, I had three girl cousins who were 3 or 4 years older than me, and they sort of cottoned on, and they used to chase me down the street and pull the heads off their Barbies and like throw them at me and that. And like looking at me
oh
now,
my
you would
God.
never know, right? But I've got a real phobia of like dolls and stuff like
Oh, I
that. So
see.
that video just figured me like, yeah, you
Oh, I
wouldn't believe. But
see.
from an artistic point of view, a brilliant video, like amazing. But for me personally, I was like, oh, right, it was really difficult for me to watch. I was watching it thinking, oh my God. Again, another fantastic video. If you haven't seen it and you're not familiar, it features an artist, a painter painting two female dolls, and yeah, it all goes a bit wrong for him.
The paintings come alive.
They're amazing paintings, though. I was thinking, oh, the paintings in the video that he does, they were incredible. And I saw there was a lot of, I hate the phrase, but Easter eggs in that video. There was like the book he was reading had your name on, and he was listening to one of your records, and he frisbeed the record out the window.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was his idea. I thought that was very funny.
yeah, no, it was great. That was fantastic. Are you a big vinyl collector, Hugh? Because obviously that's a big resurgence in recent years of the old vinyl.
No, I can understand why people get into it. I mean, it's these in the days of downloads, and streaming. There's no people, members of the public don't really have an emotional connection with such a connection with the music they're listening to. So I can understand why they like to have something physical, and the vinyl is a perfect expression of that. So I can see why it's so popular, and long may it last. Because I don't like the idea of streaming and downloads. It's too mechanical, and there's no emotional content there. I'm not I mean, I've got a load of old vinyl myself that is in a big chest that never gets opened. From the days when I was an avid music fan, and I say that in a funny sort of way. The days when I was a avid music fan. I mean, because I do it for a living now. I'm not an avid music fan. I don't listen to anything
Yeah,
anymore.
right, okay. Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry about that.
No, that's all right. That's fine. It's cool. No worries. It's not a prerequisite to be on the show to be a vinyl collector. Obviously, I'm a big fan of the physical formats myself. I wanted to talk to you as well about your other solo album, Monster. I was listening to that in the car on the way to school pickup the other day, and it's an album about people, right? There's characters and real life people you've written songs about. Question popped into my head, like, what was it about those particular people? Like, it's quite a diverse sort of range of people that you've written about, like Mussolini, Evil Knievel,
Lou Reed.
Lou Reed, your mum, I believe, is also featured.
They're mostly people, and there's also a song about a song. That the person is a song that has a special kind of chord in it called a major seven, the attack of the major seven. So there's even a song about a song, thinking of it as a person. But what is it about these people? Well, they've all had a big influence on me,
Right. Okay.
on throughout over the years, musically and psychologically.
That makes perfect sense now that they were people who've influenced your life. The other thing I wanted to ask you about, Hugh, being a movie buff and your podcast, Mr Demille FM. What sort of inspired you to start that? And
Well, it's my thank you for the plug. Yeah, it's my way. It's my escape from music.
Yeah, right.
It's very hard. It's very hard to switch off, and I've always been completely enthralled and entranced by the movies and the cinema. So, and I've had that ever since I was a kid. So I've just carried that on, and it's like a Pandora's box. So it's everything about the movie business is fascinating, and the history of it is remarkable too. So it's just my way of escaping from the doldrums of day-to-day music stuff, and I love it, And I still and even though I'm getting involved in the other side of not just as a punter in a cinema. Although it hasn't doused the flames of my passion for cinema, which I'm very pleased about.
As a sort of creative person and being, as into movies as you are, I know you've written a couple of books as well. Like, has it ever sort of come to pass or had the opportunity, or would you consider making a movie yourself?
Well, I do make the little
movies.
promo, the promo clips. But I don't have a burning desire to become a director. Have you seen what they look like? They prematurely age. They all look about 90 years old and that's because it's a huge task to be a director. And I take my hat off to, I know a few, and I take my hat off to their sheer capabilities that they're able to do it. It's incredible. But so I don't have a passion to do that, but I am actively at the moment in the process of writing some scripts, and you never know. One of them might be, one or two of them may make it in the end. You never know. These things. It's 1,000 films are planned and only about 5 get made. So it's all down to a lot of it's luck. Being in the right place at the right time.
Yeah. And just finally on the movie side of things, it's more of a comment really. I just wondered what your thoughts were. But like for me anyway, some iconic scenes over the years that have featured Stranglers music. I was thinking
that's right.
of the opening scene to Sexy Beast. It is one of my all-time favourite scenes. Like when he's laying it, it's hot. You fry an egg on my stomach. That fits perfectly that song. And when Brad Pitt knocks out Gorgeous George in Snatch, and then he goes to Golden Brown, and more recently I heard Golden Brown in Boy Swallows Universe. I don't know if you're familiar with that.
Yes, my friend wrote it. John Colley.
Incredible adaptation of an amazing book. I binged that in about 2 or 3 nights.
Is it good? I haven't seen it yet. Is it good?
It's so good, Hugh. Yeah, it's really, really good. Incredible young Australian actor. I don't know his name, but he's got a massive future. Yeah, it's really, really good. It's heartfelt. It's funny. It's sad. It's dramatic. It's really, really good. I would heartily recommend watching that. Yeah, so like when things like that come along, like is that like a little bit of an extra buzz, like being a movie buff, and how do things like come? Like, did Guy Ritchie hit you up and say, "All right, Hugh, can we use Golden Brown"? How does it work?
No, most of the time, the people that are putting the movie together, they get in touch with the publishers and ask for permission to use the track, and then they do, and then they have to pay, so they do a deal basically. And then the deal comes to the writers, us, to decide yes or no whether we'll approve it or not.
Right. Okay.
But I tell you what, I'll tell you a funny story. When I went to see Sexy Beast in the cinema when it first came out with my girlfriend, I didn't know that Peaches was on it.
Oh, no
and we both almost fell through our seats when it started up. And she looked at me and said, "You didn't tell me." And I said, "I didn't know."
Brilliant. That's superb.
Very funny.
They've made a TV series of that now. That's a TV series. It's like
Sexy Beast?
Yeah, it's a prequel. It's a prequel to it. So it gives their sort of origin story of Don and Gal, and in meeting Dee Dee, and a character like Don Logan and Ben Kingsley's portrayal of him.
It's very good.
It's incredible.
Yeah. Any of the same cast in it?
No,
it's too
no,
long.
it's a
Too
completely
far
different cast,
after
but
the...
all the same characters.
Interesting.
But there's a new character. Don Logan's sister is in it quite heavily. I can't remember the actress's name. She's a comedian. She was in The Green Wing,
Okay.
but she's
Great.
amazing. She is amazing in it, and it gives his backstory, and you find out why he is like he is.
I
Yeah,
see.
yeah, it's
Very
really
good.
good. It's really, really good. I was very like, oh, really? Can you recreate that character for the TV? But yeah, it's well worth a watch as well. I think it's on Paramount Plus in Australia. I'm not sure about in England, but
Great.
yeah,
I'll check it out. Thank
yeah,
you for the
definitely.
tip.
No problem, Hugh. No problem, mate. That's what I like. The mixtape is more, more often than not music, but I called my show the mixtape because I got given my first mixtape when I was a young man, and that sparked me off onto a lifelong of music appreciation and listening, and I just like doing that for other people. So the radio show and the podcast kind of lets me do that, but like on a much bigger scale, So that's what
Excellent.
it's all about:
Excellent.
spreading the love and spreading the music. Speaking of which, let's drop into your mixtape choices, Hugh. Track one of your mixtape. Whenever I make up a mixtape, I always
Yeah.
like to kick it off in fine style with an attention grabber, mate. So what did you pick for that?
Okay. I picked Slim Dusty singing Old Dingo.
That's one for the Aussie audience there. You're playing to the crowd there, mate. Nice one.
It's a great
Oh,
song, lovely story, and it's
yeah.
bad.
Slim Dusty's an incredible storyteller. Fantastic, fantastic choice. And yeah, so sort of what is it about the song that grabbed your attention when you first heard it, Hugh?
Well, it's just great. It's you can just picture it all. It's like a movie, It's like he tells a story, and it's like just like a movie, and you're drawn in, and you want to know what happens next. And he tells it in such a very. He's got a charming voice, lovely, charming
Yeah,
voice,
yeah.
and he's such a remarkable artist. I think he released about 100 albums. I mean,
Yeah,
how
he
could
was
he?
very prolific.
How
Yeah,
could he have
yeah.
written all that stuff, and just ridiculous. So yeah, why not,
Yeah, Australian icon. If you're listening to this outside Australia, Slim Dusty's like he's like the Johnny Cash of Australia. He's just yeah,
Exactly.
he's a country music legend, and yeah, we absolutely love him over here. Okay, track two, Hugh, is a song that you sing loud and proud when you're on your own in the car or the
Well,
shower, mate.
well, one of them, and I've always sung this since I was a kid. It's "Way Down Yonder in New Orleans" by Freddie Cannon, and I
Mm.
just love this song. And I know all the words, and I've been singing it ever since I was a kid. When I first
Yeah,
heard it, I learnt it when I was a kid, and it's still there. And in fact, I love it so much. I actually did a version of it with John Cooper Clarke on our album that we did together called "This Time It's Personal" a few years ago, and we did a great version of it. I loved it. I loved it.
yeah, that's a good album. That I listened to a couple of tracks off that album with John Cooper Clarke and Arthur Park. That was like a brilliant idea. Whose idea was that? Like to get him to sing that because that was just
That was me.
genius. Yeah,
Yeah,
superb.
but I didn't realize he was going to sing it. I didn't realize he had such a
Yeah,
great voice. He's got a
yeah.
fabulous baritone voice.
I
And
was expecting it to be spoken word, and yeah, I was quite surprised when
yeah,
I.
me
Yeah,
too.
fantastic. Yeah, this time it's personal with John Cooper Clarke. If you listen, that's a great recommendation. Okay,
Yeah.
Hugh, track three, and I asked you to pick your favourite cover version, mate. What did you pick for that?
I picked Mose Allison's song "Young Man Blues," which was done in a fabulous way by The Who. Obviously, big fans of Mose
Yeah,
Allison, like myself, and it was
yeah,
on the Live at Leeds album. I mean, Mose was one of a big influence on me when I was a kid because my brother had all his records in his jazz
yeah,
collection, vinyl at home, and it was one of the first bluesy type. Although he was white, he was a sort of a white blues singer from Tennessee. I he had a big influence on me, and I loved a lot of his song Parchment Farm and stuff like that.
mm.
But the Who's version is fabulous.
That Live at Leeds album, I think that often comes up when you get like magazine polls and website polls of like best live albums ever. That Live at Leeds album comes up like a fair bit. Yeah, fantastic live album that, and yeah, I was lucky enough to see the Who live a few years back, and a couple of times I saw them doing the Quadrophenia tour in Hyde
Wow,
Park. in Hyde Park in London, and that was amazing.
Whoa.
They had some fantastic people. I mean, Adrian Edmondson was in the cast. Stephen Fry was the narrator.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
it was. They did like they toured it as a live show. Yeah, it was brilliant. Unfortunately, Gary Glitter played the rocker, which is a bit of a shame looking back.
Oh.
But Roger Daltrey was sporting a Target eye patch because it's you know how he likes to whip the microphone around, and he caught himself in the eye with the microphone. He had a big shiner, so he had this like really cool looking who eye patch. Yeah, I'll always remember that. Okay, track 4, Hugh, is a song you wish you could play to your 18-year-old self. What did you pick for that?
Yeah, well, when I was 18 years old, I was not aware of Captain Beefheart on the Magic Band. And one of the later tracks that he did, which really blew me away, was called "When It Blows It Stacks." It's from the Spotlight Kid album, I think, and it's an immense song. And I actually did a version of it in the last, about 30 years ago now. And so that's what I'd play to myself.
What do you think the 18-year-old Hugh would make of that? Would make of that song?
I think it would blow his mind away.
For sure. Beefheart, yeah, he blows a lot of people's minds away, I think. Yeah, especially with that track. I'm going to move quickly through, Hugh, because I'm looking at the time and it's against us a little bit. Track 5, if you were trying to woo someone, letting them know, and you were making them up a mixtape, what's the track you would put on your mixtape to let the listener know that you're sort of romantic?
I would put on Chet Baker singing "I'm a Fool to Want You." I mean, he started off playing trumpet with Miles Davis and lots of other jazz greats.
Yeah, you're right.
And then then he started singing, and he had got this fabulous voice. So I mean, anyone who's not aware of him should check him out. Beautiful, very romantic, soppy stuff, but great.
That's what we like. That's for that track. It's definitely soppy and romantic. That's what we're after. Okay, and finally, Hugh, track 6. I always do when I'm making up a mixtape, put on something that's a little bit obscure, maybe a B-side or an album track or something a little bit left field. What did you pick, mate?
I picked Adam Faith singing a song called "Runk Bunk," which was the B-side of a big hit he had called "Our Poor Little Baby." I think it was his first single back in the early 60s. And Runk Bunk is right up there with it's very experimental, and it's just a great little song. It's only about 2 minutes long.
Yeah, right, okay. That's track 6 is, I sort of purposely put that track and that question on the mixtape as a way of people introducing me to new stuff. And yeah, I've got a few Spotify playlists now on my Spotify account that I've got all the track 1s, all the track 2s, all the track 3s, all the track 4s
that's a clever idea.
that people have picked. And track 6 is like my favourite playlist because it's like
it must be amazing.
It's all the out there, like sort of stuff that people have picked over the last sort of year or so since I've been doing this. Yeah, it's a really good one. And each week I go through and update each playlist with the track that people have picked. Yeah, so they're out there. If you mixtapepodcast.com if you want to check those out. Hugh Cornwell, thanks so much for coming on the show. Really, really appreciate your time, mate. Great to see you. metropolistouring.com for tickets. Safe travels down under, Hugh, and I'll see you when you get it, mate.
I'll see you in Perth. Take care. See you, Mark. Bye.
Cheers, Hugh. Bye. That was a Mixtape podcast. Thank you so much for listening. Don't forget to jump up to the top of the page and smash that follow button, and you'll be notified every time there's a new episode. Or follow me on Instagram @TheMixtapePerf. Until the next time.